Hello YouTube, and today I'm doing my top 5 William Hartnell stories. A lot of people do top 3, but I'm doing top 5 because of John Pertwee. I think it's going to be very hard for me to narrow down 5 stories from his era. Yeah, so I'm going to do 11 videos. I'm not doing Paul McGann because I've only, seen one of his stories. I don't really listen to the Big Finish productions that much, so I'm going to fill the gap in by using doing the missing episodes, my favourite missing episodes from Pat Troughton and William Hartnell. So that way we'll get hopefully get 11 videos still out of it, I think. Anyway, on to the top 5. The Ark. Now this screams The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and is a good book if you haven't read it. Yeah, it's another one of those stories when you go to the spaceship, then you arrive, a few years later, and it's being taken over by the people who were the slaves, which in this case were the monoids. And it's just a brilliant story. It's a nice, quick, easy Hartnell story, four-parter. It's a nice four-parter. The humans are in rule, and then the other two where the monoids are, sort of thing. And the monoids, they may look stupid, but I like the monoids. They're pretty cool. Have the Dalek invasion of Earth. Now I love the location footage of this with the Daleks going over London Bridge, Trafalgar Square. Sort of the concept of World War II back, because if you think about the time this was made, the 1960s, 64, 63. World War II finished 20 years ago, so the mind of the war was still very much in the people of London and around the world who were involved in it. So bring a science fiction element such as the Dalek in the world. They were sort of like space Nazis, so it's a very good story. It brings that element that the Daleks, the story the Daleks were in. They were very much just bound to their city, but this is when the Daleks begin to terrify, but they can come to Earth. Not the best Dalek story, but one of the good ones from the 60s. Yeah. We have the Time Meddler. Now I chose this story because it's got comedy elements what work very well, and the idea of the meddling monk, played by Peter Butterworth, who does it really well. It's just fantastic. His wristwatches in Saxon England before they were taken over by the Vikings or something. Yeah, the Vikings. Or I think it is the Vikings. Yeah, Vikings. Yeah, it's a really good historical story. This is good for any kids who, like Doctor Who, and you learn about the Battle of Hastings, or Battle of 1066. You've got some lovely moments with Hartnell going, this moment in particular. He said, "What do you think it is? A space helmet for a cow?" Yeah, this is Stephen's first story. A good story to be introduced to. I like the moment when the Doctor, when the monks are singing, and he goes up to the monastery and he just finds out that it's a record player going, and then he gets locked in the cell, and that's just a brilliant cliffhanger. Yeah, I love the Time Meddler. I highly recommend all these stories. The Aztecs. Another good historical story. There's a lot going on. It's quite fast paced for a historical story. The second historical story they did, the first was Marco Polo. It was a bit slow Marco Polo, but this is when historic ones become really good. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail for this because I've reviewed it, and I don't want to spoil the review if you haven't seen it yet. So yeah, Aztecs. Number one, people have probably guessed it, it is the War Machines. Now, I love the idea of using the BT Tower. I love Doctor Who stories when they use everyday objects like plastic dummies, spiders, seaweed, scarecrows, those kinds of things. It brings an element. And using the computers again, it's I think Stephen Moffat might have based his Bells of St. John off this, using computers and stuff, because the BT Tower was relatively new when they filmed this story. So again, it's just a fantastic story. Hartnell has some brilliant performances in this, introduces Ben and Polly. Yeah, the War Machines themselves are very much like the Daleks, but a bit more bulkier. Yeah, I absolutely love this story. I can't recommend this story enough. It's the best Hartnell story what has been released so far on DVD. So Hartnell is now going to regenerate into this Cosmic Hobo. Yeah, where I will do my top 5 Patrick Troughton stories. So thank you for watching this video. My next video will be the Bells of St. John review.